Hello and welcome to another episode of Giggling Witches. I'm Sadie,
Hey, I'm Pam.
and we're here to giggle and chat about magic with you every Thursday. We're on
Yes.
Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Make sure you're
hmm
subscribed. We're very excited to be here for episode number. We did it.
We can high five now.
I'm still thinking a lot about last week's episode with Hannah. Like,
It was so good.
it was mind-blowing. It was so
Yeah,
good. She knows so much. I was
so
so
much.
just impressed. Not surprised, but so impressed. Like,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
that was
She is
amazing.
very, very knowledgeable.
Yeah, the Akashic Records. I can't wait to do a reading. But today we wanted to talk about the theme being our words are spells. You
Yes.
see that like tweet, whatever that saying going around, like words are spells. That's why they call it spelling. I love it. It's so true. It's kind of
Like,
cheesy.
that went into my nose a little
Pam's
bit.
joking. She's like, too cheesy.
Oh, okay. That was good. That was cute.
But we're going to talk about scripting. We're going to talk about automatic writing. I mean, I literally have scripted a whole new reality this summer.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So I'll share about that and how I've been using scripting every single day, how I do it, how it's working. It's great. But before we get into words are spells and all that stuff, you got some silly goofy?
So, yeah. Okay. So, you ever just like say, okay, so sometimes I just like talk to myself
Sure.
and yeah. And I said something the other day that I just wrote down because I thought it was really funny. So I just went to the doc. This is not the funny part. I went to the doctor and she's like, I think you have food sensitivity. You need to stop eating dairy and gluten. And I was like, I'm Italian. Those are my two food
You
groups.
mean the two
Like,
best food groups in the entire world?
yeah. So, this is my, so the funny part is that I was like, oh my God, maybe I'll do like a PSA because there's gluten in everything. This is not
Yeah.
my PSA. The PSA is me asking for help. If you are gluten free, send me your snacks, send me your things that you enjoy eating.
Yeah.
But the funny part is that I was like, PSA, a Pam service. In my brain, I just went Pam service announced.
We need to have a PSA of the week. Pam's
Yeah,
service
Pam
announcement of the
service
week.
announced. So that was mine. And then my I have a few, so maybe I'll
Wait,
line them
wait,
up
wait,
for
wait,
the
wait.
next.
Wait, we have to back it up a little.
Okay.
Talk more about your gluten sensitivity.
Oh, I yeah, I
Is
guess I
that why you
just
get migraines, you think?
maybe I don't know. I think that's more related to my the nerve damage I have. I
Oh,
call them
okay.
like shoulder headaches, even though your shoulders don't get headaches, but it
Yeah, it
stems
like
from this and
goes
it
with.
goes radiates all through my body. It's not very fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, it might be a possibility. I just realized I don't know if you can hear it, but I just remembered that I have frequency music playing in the background because I
Oh,
can hear it. Can you hear it?
I felt like I heard a tiny faint something. I mean, Zoom has really good noise suppression, so it might be
Break for Sadie's ad break on new Zoom noise suppression.
Zoom noise suppression. Love it.
I was like, what is
I just
happening?
still can't believe. I just can't emphasize enough how crazy the sounds were in India. I think was it with you with somebody on one of our calls? I was like, I just need you to know what I'm dealing with here, and I turned off the noise suppression for a second, and when I don't know, maybe it was with
I
somebody
don't
else.
remember. Maybe not me.
I think it was one of my one-on-one peeps, and I was like, I just need you to know what I'm dealing with here, and I turned it off because it was just like, and it was like that
Like a DJ
all
set.
day. There was a pause in it from like midnight to like 3 a.m. and then it would start back up again because we were on like a
Crazy.
street corner.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But Zoom noise suppression. Zoom noise suppression. This episode is sponsored by new Zoom noise suppression. Say that 5 times fast. It's really hard.
It's really hard.
Every time I was like, "Can you guys hear that?" Everyone was like, "No, I don't hear
No.
anything."
Yeah.
I was trying to lead meditations and stuff, and I was
And you're
like,
like,
I'm like, it was so, I'd be like, and take a deep breath and I'd just be like, "Bah!" in the background. I mean, it was crazy. It was comical. I should have recorded more of it.
Remember when like we were younger and you would for your ringtone would have to record the radio to make
Mm-hmm.
it, and then all of a sudden the DJ would go burr 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 burr, and you were like, "Damn it, I was so close."
That and just the experience of getting in trouble for buying ringtones on the
Yeah, because
family
they were
plan,
like,
and your parents would be like, "What is this charge?"
they were like, "Why are you paying $1.50 for this ringtone?"
Wait,
Because
I'm trying to
you
remember what my
needed it.
ringtone was.
Or the
It was
ring back tones. Do you remember
oh
those?
my God. Oh my God. Like when you would call and
Yeah.
they wouldn't answer.
No, no,
My
and there would be a song
and
instead
then
of
it
the
would
like,
play something.
yeah,
My friend Claire had one of those and she couldn't get rid of it. So she I think recently, yeah, recently when I called her, it didn't, or maybe because I would like I FaceTime her now usually. But like we met in like college and it was after we were kind of done with that phase of the callback tones and the ringtones. We had the iPhones now and stuff.
yeah,
I mean, who even has the ringer on anymore? My phone is eternally on silent. I check it
yeah,
enough, it's like attached to me.
yeah.
But every time you call her, like this song would play and she'd be like, "Hey, you fish." She made it when she was a teenager. She's like, "I can't get rid of it. I don't know how to remove it." I loved it. I wonder if it's still there. I should try to call her. I never had one of those.
I don't remember if I did. I know my mom did. I don't remember what it was though.
I kind of remember my ringtone. I remember the one I picked out in middle school. I really liked it. Like my first ringtone. It was like not a popular song. It was like a song that I liked because my dad listened to it. I picked it as ringtone. I can't remember. Drop your first ringtone in the comments
Yeah,
below if you're on YouTube. What was your first ringtone? Or did you have a callback tone?
yeah. Okay. Um, that kind of brings me to my next silly goofy.
Here we go. Lay it
Was
on
I think
us.
this is an important conversation in our friendship, like a piece
Hmm.
of our friendship.
Okay.
Were you an NSYNC or a Backstreet Boys
In sync.
kid? Me too. Okay. Now we
Glad we
can
got
move
it that
on.
out of the way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We really feel like we took another step in
Hold
our
on,
relationship just now.
otherwise we would have been like, this is the last episode.
This is, and everybody, that's all, folks.
Oh my
Comment
God.
below. Are you Backstreet Boys or NSYNC? If you're Backstreet Boys, you can't listen anymore.
Yeah,
Just kidding. They're both
just
good.
kidding. I
They're
do
both
love the
good.
Backstreet Boys.
But I remember me and my friend, we went to like Walmart to get posters for our room.
Of
And like I
course.
picked out a Justin Timberlake one and she picked out a Lance Bass one.
Oh, I
And I
loved
was,
Lance Bass.
yeah. And I was like, how could you? I was like, I loved Justin Timberlake. He's kind of a mess right now, but
Yeah,
back in the day, whoo.
it's gonna ruin the tour. Um,
Oh my God, the fact that it was like a young cop that pulled him over that didn't know who he was and then
illegal.
like was confused when he was like,
That's
this is
what was
gonna ruin the
illegal.
world tour. That's
Yeah,
illegal.
that's what was
That cop should
illegal.
be arrested. That's crazy. That's so funny.
So
It's like the world
crazy.
tour.
But I just okay, so
Did it though?
I
Are they still going on tour?
I
Do you
think
know?
so because I have a friend who's I know somebody who's on the tour, so I'm assuming that it's happening because
You're so cool.
they're gone.
You just have a friend that's on the world tour.
Well, I don't really know. He's like my friend's boyfriend that I don't really know.
I don't know any, I have no friends of a friend of a friend of a friend that are on the world tour. So you're still
Touring
cooler than
world, you
me.
know? Yeah.
Pam has so many hidden coolest stories in the world that I will coax out of her throughout our time.
Yeah. We
She's
gotta ease into her.
toured. She's has all these crazy stories. Maybe we'll have an entire episode, a PSA episode
PSA.
that's all about Pam.
All
I'll
of
just
my
drill
just
her. I'll be like, and
ramblings.
then, and then,
And
and then, and then what story? Also,
also,
we'll get it out of you.
oh my God, I think I was typing up this is how my brain works. Because I was just gonna say, oh my God, I just posted a story that was like
But you didn't.
also, and then
But you
I
didn't post it.
haven't even gotten all the poll questions out on there yet.
If you'd like to take a moment now, please feel free.
No, we'll save that draft, come back to it later.
Great. I do
Woof.
it all the
Okay.
time.
Put my phone back in its home. I got this like phone stand.
Hmm.
So
I have a little.
that's its home now.
I had two. I have one. I always lose it. It's a little. It folds flat, and then
Yeah.
you can adjust the thing.
Oh,
But
I
I
love
like it.
that.
I don't know. I like it like next to my computer while I'm
Yeah,
working.
it's right
Look
there.
around on it.
Because then I'm
I
like,
got two. I never. This is such a boring, unimportant story. I'm sorry, but now it's in my brain, and I have to say it. I got two.
I
And
understand.
and I never lose anything. I never lose
Oh,
anything.
that I don't understand. I lose everything. St.
I
Anthony's like my
it's
best friend.
it's 222 right now. You know what? I think I said a
Two
lot. I
two
say
two and 22 seconds.
it's a sign. Everybody make a wish. The Giggly Witches goes worldwide.
What if we got our own tour? Then you
Yeah, the
could be
Giggly
like, I
Witches
toured.
world tour.
Yeah.
Well, I just have to
I
convince you to
forgot
be a
that you're
digital
like
nomad with me. I know we're
kind of
moving to St. Augustine, but the other option is that you can be a digital nomad with me. Whatever it is, I'm like, Pam, you and me, we're in it, babe.
journaling.
It'll be the world Giggly Witches world tour.
Love that.
Um, anyways, I just never lose anything. I never ever lose anything. I have a really good memory. And I had two little phone stands, and they're small and they fold flat, so I could keep them in my purse to make content when I was traveling around.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I was by myself a lot. And it's also, if you're just like, I was with my cousin, I was like, it's so annoying to ask somebody to like constantly take videos of you like walking.
Yeah.
Right. So I would like set it up and then I would go. Anyways, my first country, New Zealand, I immediately left one there at a museum and I was so pissed at myself because I never lose anything.
At
And
least
that's
you
it.
didn't lose your phone.
Yeah. I would never lose my phone. I did leave my debit card in an ATM in Bali though. Do you want to know something crazy?
Yeah.
In Bali, well, I didn't realize it till days later, so mine was gone. But in Bali, like, hot guy left his debit card at an ATM,
How
and
did you
then
do this?
I know, and I only had one. Now I have two. When I went back out, because I was like, it was luckily like a month before I came home, but I had to go to Singapore by myself without a debit card. I mean, I had a credit card, so it's fine. But
Yeah.
it's you need to have some cash because some places
Yeah.
just don't take cards.
Yeah.
I went to Singapore all by myself, no debit card. The hot guy got me some cash out, and I just like exchanged it or whatever. And then Thailand, I had no debit card, but luckily, like I was with somebody, so it was fine. And then I came home and I was like, I'm gonna open another bank account so I can have two debit cards because I
Yeah.
need to be able to access cash when you're traveling. What was I gonna say? Oh, okay, in Bali. Okay, so in the US, if you leave a debit card, well, hopefully the machine just eats it and whatever. But if somebody finds it, like chances are they're gonna try using it. Like everyone's just
Right.
kind of an asshole, right? Like Americans just really can't be trusted. In a lot of countries you go and there's just so many like little things where you're like, wow, in America they can never do that. Like
Yeah.
everyone would just be an asshole about it. Like in South Korea, they have convenience stores. There's nobody that works there. You just check yourself out. There's a
Yes,
camera.
I've seen this.
I could go get little ice cream bar, like my little matcha ice cream bars every night when I would like at the end of my day, like after exploring. And it's just like you just go in, you get what you want, you check out, you leave. We can never do that in America. Somebody would scoop out every last ice cream bar and they would leave.
Yeah.
Anyways, in Bali, Hawkeye left his debit card. And then I can't remember if it was just like, it was either like a while, like 6 hours later, or it was even maybe the next day. It was a significant amount of time where I was like, there's no way it's still going to be there. And he was like, no,
Yeah.
it'll be there. I'll get it. It's no problem. I was like, what do you mean? In Bali, everyone is so nice and so kind. And if you leave your debit card, they just put it on top of the ATM machine and nobody takes it.
I
And
literally just started sweating when you said that.
we went back. We went back and his card was there and so were two other ones.
Wow.
And everyone just is respectful of each other's debit cards. And I was like, what the heck? Why didn't we do that with mine? And he was like, because you realized it like 4 days later, it wasn't going to be there. Like, I'm sure somebody cleared it out. Well, we
Yeah.
did end up going back and it wasn't there, but I was just like, oh. I just hadn't used it. Like, I got the cash
Yeah.
out. I never pay with a debit card. It's only to get cash. I always pay with my credit card. So you get points and shit, you know? So I just didn't
Yeah.
realize that. I use it like once a month to get cash. Anyways, that amazed me. I was like, wow.
That is amazing. Very nice.
Yeah.
I
Everyone was so
love that.
nice. Yeah.
So nice.
Culture. Can't do that in the US. Everyone's
No.
assholes here. Not everyone, but a lot
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Not where you can leave your debit card somewhere and it would
Yeah,
still
I
be
just
there.
couldn't believe it was still there and that there was also other ones. And we just took ours and, went on our way.
Skedaddled.
Or not ours, his. But yeah, I was like,
Mine.
yeah. He took his and I had two new ones. No, just kidding. Absolutely not. I did not do that. But I was like, I don't know if like, I don't know, if you see an American card and you think,
Yeah.
oh, like the exchange rate, this has American cash on it. Like, but I guess, his was Russian, which their exchange rate isn't as good. But like, I don't know. I would just imagine like that would be tempting
Yeah.
to take that and use it in Bali.
Yeah.
Anyways, amazing.
Amazing.
Things like that. They just make my heart happy. I'm like, wow, what a
That is
beautiful world
very
we live in.
nice. What a wonderful
What a
world.
wonderful world. Back to you. Do you have more silly goofies?
I have one more.
Okay.
Okay, well, I have a few more, but maybe I'll just no, I'm gonna tell this one instead, and then I'll do a different one another time.
Okay.
Are you on the side of TikTok with Nate the Hoof Guy?
I thought you were gonna ask a different one. Nate the Hoof Guy. No,
Okay.
I
It's
don't think
this
so.
man
Uh-huh.
who I don't know like the proper words for this, but he like cleans hooves, like cow hooves,
Oh,
and
okay.
like if
I
they're like injured, you know what I'm talking about?
I think I've come across like I honestly I feel like I saw somebody like reshare a video in their story or something.
Okay. So he's just got like a real nice
What?
like voice. And no, you never see what he looks like. I have no idea what he
Oh,
looks like.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was
Um,
picturing you could like see him from behind,
I
like
wonder
clean
if I
hoof,
could
and you're
find
like,
it
wow,
really
nice
quick.
butt.
No, because he shows like the hoof, and sometimes you're like, that's
Uh,
disgusting. But he's
but
just
it's
like
like
he's always like
satisfying.
he's like, welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. And this is real. And I don't know how this started. Look, he's literally the second guy that comes up, Nate the Hoof Guy.
Wow.
And um, ew, that's disgusting. But like he just like does the thing and he explains like what he's doing and like
Hmm.
what like is wrong with the cow. See, like that's the problem part right
Oh,
there.
okay. I have seen this. I
Yeah.
think I saw that video.
And he just, does his whole thing, but it's just really nice. And I don't know how this started, but everybody comments on his videos. And I guess they cut like maybe like the time that he posts them, like the way that the timing of how they come up in everybody's For You pages is that it's always like nighttime. So it's like everybody in the comments is like, okay, like you know the rules, like it's bedtime. And then like sometimes people will get on there and be like, Nate, I literally just woke up, but I guess rules are rules. Good night, everybody. Or they'll be like, Nate, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I can't go to bed now. Like, I mean, I
So
don't know why,
weird
but I really love it.
that there's a whole huge inside joke on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very nice. I'll send you one later.
That's like what like with like just anything like trending and stuff, like that's so cool because it's in a comment section, so that's even more like niche. But like just
Yeah.
in general, like trends and stuff, I'm like, it does bring us together. We all have these inside jokes. I was just FaceTiming with my two like childhood BFFs, and one of them is on no social media at all. And so like me and Haley and her will be like me and Haley and Huli, I can say all of their names. I don't know, whatever. Me and Haley and Huli will all be FaceTiming, and like once in a while, Haley and I will just like say a phrase from like a trending audio or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we're always like, oh, like we have to explain it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, you wouldn't get it. It's sort of like it's an internet inside joke.
Yeah. Like chronically online. That's
Because
me.
what were we talking? Oh, I think, yeah, whatever. We were just talking. I was saying this whole like, I don't know, when we're all three talking, like we're just like cracking jokes, whatever, not very much serious time, but I was doing I was catching them up on whatever, some like serious stuff. And then I ended it with, and I just want somebody to match my freak, And like Haley started laughing, and like Huli didn't get that joke, and but she was just like, she's like, I just thought you were being a dumbass because you always are. She's like,
Like,
that
well,
didn't. She's like, I didn't question you saying that at all. It just seemed like something Sadie would say. I was like, no, it's kind of an inside joke we all have.
that's so we all.
Wait, I was gonna say, have you had on your for you page? I don't know the handle of this person, but they're like very demure, very mindful.
Yeah. Well, okay.
That's my
Well,
internal dialogue all day now when I'm doing stuff. I'm gonna make this coffee. It's very demure, very mindful. Gonna get ready to record that
I
podcast.
don't know if I've seen the original one, but
Oh, okay.
I've only seen like people using the sound now.
Oh, okay. Next time one comes up on my For You page, I'll send you the person that makes all of that. But it's so
Yeah,
funny. Yeah, and now it's just my internal dialogue for the rest of this week.
of course.
Everything like very demure, very mindful. You see how I do that? Very
Very,
demure,
very
very
mindful.
mindful.
I love it.
That's my favorite internet joke of the week.
I, yeah. I don't know what mine is of the week yet. Well, it's only Tuesday, so
You have
perhaps I
time.
will come, yeah, come back next week.
Everybody comment your favorite internet joke of the week. This needs to be a new segment. What's your favorite trend or internet joke of the week? I mean,
Yeah,
yours is that it's bedtime.
it's bedtime. Yeah, but that's like this is like forever. Like this has been going on for so long
Yeah. But it's your favorite right now.
right now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's of the week.
Okay.
That's all the qualifications we
Yeah.
need.
Okay. What about you? What is your
Okay. I
silly
have a
goofy?
okay, I have a silly goofy story to tell.
Okay.
So one, very exciting. I've been microdosing mushrooms.
Okay.
It's been amazing. I had the so there I don't really understand the laws around mushrooms, but I ordered these mushroom gummies online and it's legal and it's
I
fine. I
don't
can,
understand. Yeah.
if anyone wants to know, I'll send you the link. Um, or if you still follow my ex Craig, he literally just did a collab with the gummy company. I was like, oh my God, I just bought those again because he introduced me to them like last year when I saw him. But anyways, so the gummies, like, yeah, I don't get how it's legal because they are the kind that like can make you high. I don't like being high from like really anything. I like, to microdose, so I don't feel it. The gummies say like one gummy is a microdose. If I take one gummy, I am off floating in space. I am so high from one gummy. And I knew that from last year when I tried them. I don't know what happened. Last year I would take a half a gummy at a time and be fine. And then I
Yeah.
just recently got them again. And every time I took half, I would just be like knocked out. Like I was just like high. I was like, I don't want to feel this way. Like once in a
Yeah.
while, it's nice, whatever. But I'm like, I'm just trying to like do this every like twice a week, like 3 days off, like one day on, basically, to microdose. And so now I've been taking quarter of a gummy. I am cutting this what's supposed to be a microdose into four, which by the way, it's helped so much.
Yeah.
Can't recommend enough. It's
I've heard
like
such good things.
it's the number one thing that's helped depression, anxiety, focus, all the things. That's helped so much. And I definitely think that's why I've had such a big turnaround and all of a sudden have like all these like big opportunities manifesting and I'm like so excited and like whatever. I'm just like, oh, like I've been feeling my best and like doing my
Yeah.
best. But anyways, so Saturday was my microdose day. It's only quarter of a gummy, nothing to worry about. But I ate breakfast and like it was lunchtime, but like I wanted to like go run some errands and then like pick up lunch for myself. And so I was like, oh, it's fine. I'll take the microdose. Like I ate breakfast. Like I'm not starving, whatever. But clearly I should have eaten something with this. I just can't believe it was a quarter of a gummy and I got so high. Not like crazy, but then I went to Target and it hit me at Target. Like I was at Target and it hit me. And then I was like, well, now I have to like wander around Target until I don't feel this so intensely anymore
Yeah.
because I can't drive like this.
Oh my God.
So I just spent and
What
like
a,
I went into the Starbucks and I got a coffee and a little snack to like help, right? So
yeah.
it was totally fine. It really doesn't last that long. And it wasn't like crazy, but I was just definitely like surprised by this. But then I was it's just like, I was just and mushrooms make me so happy and so giggly. And just in Target, like at myself, like do I look high? I'm just like, be cool, be cool.
What a like fun place to be though.
It
I
was
love
honestly
Target.
the best. All the back to school stuff was out, which is this
Ooh.
little Virgo's favorite.
You're like, I
I
came home with 3 new binders and 4 notebooks and colored pencils. And
I, I had a basket. I filled it up so full of notebooks. I went to the book section. I picked out like 5 books. And then I started feeling like more grounded again. And I was like, Sadie, what are you doing? All this stuff.
you're like, I have $500 worth of things in a basket
It
at
was
Target.
literally notebooks and books and pens. I was like, well, this is what my idea of a crazy day at Target is.
That's really
So I put most
funny.
of it back. I did come home with 2 really cute notebooks. One of them has disco ball cherries on it.
Of course, love that.
And then the other one has clouds on it. The most fun part is in the back of it. They have these printed off pages. One of them like is like to teach you how to fold a paper airplane, and then one of them has the fortune, the fold instructions. And I was like,
Love that.
yes, we're passing this down to the next
Yeah.
generation. I'm like, millennials designed this notebook. a thousand
Yeah.
percent. It made me so happy.
Love that.
I need to like show them on my stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just accidentally was a little bit, and I will
No?
emphasize, it really wasn't crazy high, but it was just like, I'm so sensitive and I get like very, like, and I was just like out. So I got very overwhelmed. I was like, oh no, I'm feeling it. Like, I didn't think I would feel it at all. Normally I don't, but I usually like
Yeah.
eat it. I usually like eat my food and take it immediately. And this had been like an hour after breakfast. And I was like, it's fine. Like, I'm going to go get lunch in an hour. Like, it was not fine.
That reminds me of have you ever watched Taylor Tomlinson?
I know who you're talking about, but
She's a comedian.
I have watched tons of her clips, but I don't think I've ever like sat down and watched her full set.
She's got this one, like, I think it's in her Netflix special, one of her Netflix specials.
Hmm.
And she's talking about how she has these like little CBD, like not even like THC, like they're like CBD
Yeah.
blueberries. And she's like, and I'm so afraid that I cut them. And she's like, and I cut this little blueberry in half. It's really funny. You gotta watch it. I
Oh
think
my
they're
God.
CBD, but maybe they are THC.
Yeah.
But I
I
thought it
can't,
was
yeah,
so
I'm
funny.
so sensitive to any like the 5 milligram THC gummies. I think is like one of the smallest you can get. Have to cut those in half. And then I'm like a pleasant amount, like I like feel it a pleasant amount, but I'm
Yeah.
just like, I don't know what it is. But I mean, one time I've always felt a little paranoid anytime I've like smoked or anything. I always tried like in California, like it wasn't legal in
Yeah.
Wisconsin, but in California it's like totally legal. When I lived with, Craig, he like was always getting it for free, whatever. We had like endless supplies of THC products. But it always made me paranoid, so I didn't really use it much. But when we both got super sick from COVID, and he told me he was giving me CBD to help me feel better.
Oh no.
and we both had crazy brain fog. It was the first time we got it, and it was just a very, very bad.
Yeah.
He got sick first, and then I was taking care of him, and then he started getting better, and then I got super sick. So he was taking care of me, but he was taking care of me like half a zombie, you know? He didn't know
Yeah.
what's going on. And he gave me like we had all these different liquid forms in the cupboard, and I would only ever use the CBD one and whatever. Well, they're all different. 18 to 1, 4 to 1, 2 to 1,
Yeah.
whatever, 1 to 1. He grabbed the strongest one and he's like and he said, "Oh, I got you the strong one." To me, my strong one is like 18 to 1.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "And I'm gonna give you two spoonfuls." It was like the one he gave me like he gave me so much
Just in
juice.
outer space.
I, so, and I didn't know, right? And I'm really sick. And I remember I was sitting on the floor with the cats when it hit me, and I stood up and I almost fell over. And then Craig like put me on the couch, and I was just sitting there, and I felt like my soul was being sucked out of my body. And I was like, I think this is what dying feels like. And I was so sick. And I don't know, this was scary COVID times. You know,
Yeah.
this was this it was Christmas time 2021. So it was still very
Okay.
like intense, whatever.
Yeah.
So I looked at him and I was like, I think we need to go to the hospital. And he started laughing and he's like, "No, babe, you're just high." And I was like, "What do you mean I'm like?" I just remember in my head I was like, my dad's gonna be so mad at me for dying.
My dad's gonna be
And
so mad.
I was like, how much does an ambulance cost? Because I think I really need one. Like there was all this stuff happening.
$700.
Yeah, there's all this stuff happening in my brain. And I was like, whatever. What's this gonna cost me? And I was like, but it's your life, Sadie. You have to tell him that you need to go to the hospital. And then I did, and he just starts laughing. But then I slept for like 24 hours straight and I was completely better. So after that, so
Oh my
it
God.
worked. I was just
Oh my God.
bamboozled.
I was just bamboozled.
That wasn't the only time I was ever bamboozled by him. He always gave me too much. And anytime I was like, yeah, first time I took mushrooms, he's like, this is the perfect amount. And I was like, I'm scared. I don't want to be very
Yeah.
high. It was too much. But to be fair, I'm a lightweight. So
With a baby. Just a baby.
I'm just a baby. I'm literally just a girl, you know?
Yeah. Just a
So
teenage girl.
just a little itty bitty baby teenager that's about to turn 33. Oh my goodness. But in conclusion, mushrooms
Mm.
are my favorite thing in the whole entire world. Said that for years. Maybe not
Yeah.
on the internet, but really, truly,
I've
they're
heard really good
incredible.
things about microdosing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Um, yeah. So that's my silly goofy. Getting
Okay.
high on mushrooms and Target.
Um, all right.
All
I love
right.
that. I
Love
love
that.
that. I was trying to think of something really funny to say and it didn't come fast enough.
I was
So
having a silly goofy time.
yeah, I love that. I love Target. Target, please sponsor us.
This episode,
Could be.
that's how we manifest it. Could be sponsored by Noise Suppression on Zoom and Target. And
Notion.
Notion and Colors gummies, mushroom gummies.
Yeah.
But if anyone wants to look it up, it's colorsgummies.net and I get the flow ones. But
Mm.
I say cut into fours to test it out first, and then you can try to take it out. It says one is a microdose and three is like to get high. I'm like, if I took three, I would probably have to go to the hospital, or I would think I would need to.
Yeah.
But anyways, shall we dive into our topic of the day?
Yeah. Might as well.
Words are spells.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask you because I know we've talked about before where you're like, oh, like I don't think like automatic writing has been
Yeah.
effective for me, but in terms of just like the concept of like our words being spells, I guess that my question, it's kind of vague in general, but what does that mean to you like in your practice? Like how do you use words? Do you use scripting? Do you use journaling? Do
I
you
definitely journal and I like writing letters. I don't
mm,
know if this is scripting, but
yeah.
I like writing letters like from a future me.
Yeah.
Like that's what I did for the Lionsgate. Oh my God,
Oh
888
yeah.
girl. We didn't even, yeah.
I want to talk about Lionsgate actually. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay.
It's gonna blend into scripting and stuff.
Yeah.
Me getting resituated. Actually, apparently that's what I want to talk about.
Because that's what I did for Lionsgate
Yeah,
was write a letter from like December 31st, 2024.
I love that.
Yeah.
How was your Lionsgate? Okay, just in case, I think everybody here follows a lot of witches and stuff, but the Lionsgate portal apparently it was open. I think
Apparently,
it
oh, sorry.
apparently we're in the Lionsgate portal, and apparently it ends on the 15th, and it started on like the 1st, apparently, something like that. It's like a
Apparently.
2 or 3 week
Yeah.
portal. First of all, I feel like there was, at least on my algorithm, there's a lot of controversy. There was people being like, oh, it's when this alignment and whatever. And there's a bunch of people being like, that's not even what's actually happening in the sky.
Yeah.
So it's just made up. What are your thoughts on that?
I think with the spiritual world, there is so much. I think the internet is like so great and then also can be so frustrating and sometimes like just a
Yeah.
hole of people like screaming
Yeah.
because especially with like spiritual stuff, it's like people are like, no, it's this, no, it's this. And there's a lot of like pop astrology, like
Yeah.
here's like if your sign was a book character kind of thing. And
Hmm.
you're just like, yeah, sure, like that's fun, but you're not really like talking about
Yeah.
what's actually happening here.
Right.
Um, so I honestly ended up like skipping a lot of videos because I was just like, also every single person I'm following is talking about the Lionsgate portal right now. I was like, I
Yeah.
got to a point where I was like, I'm
Sorry.
sick of
Adjusting my curtain. Sorry.
paying no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Someone's speaking out from back there. Sorry about that.
um, but I was just like, I'm almost like sick of hearing it.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. I mean, what I think is interesting. So I really enjoy following let me look up the account. His name's David. I don't know if that's his handle though. Yeah, David Petrusic or Petrusic.
On the
David.
TikTok?
We should have a on Instagram. I follow him. We should have him on the show. But he's a psychic medium and an astrologer, and he talks about sidereal astrology,
Mm,
which is what's actually happening in the current skies, versus tropical astrology is based on the skies like 2000 years ago. And so like basically and he knows both and he teaches both, but basically like if you were to look at your sidereal astrology chart, it's different. And
hmm.
I feel like there was a lot of like controversy. I feel like every few years there's controversy of like your sun sign isn't what you thought it
Yeah.
was, and it that's talking about sidereal astrology. And it is interesting because when I look at my sidereal chart, I am mind blown and I resonate with it so much. But I also
Mm,
really resonate with my tropical astrology chart.
okay.
And so I think two things can be true at once. And I think
Yeah.
like there's benefits to both. But basically, like what everyone's in a fuss about is that, when they talk about the Lionsgate on 8A, oh, like Jupiter is in alignment with something, the sun and something, something. I can't remember the exact. That's based on tropical astrology. But what's actually happening in the sky is not that. So they're like,
Mm,
is it really the portal if that's not what actually is happening in the sky? And there's misinformation about that, whatever. People are like, oh, this alignment is happening on this day. It's actually not happening in our current sky. However, I still think with the collective consciousness being on board for this,
Yeah.
that there's extra power that day. And it's up to you whether you want to tap into that and align with it or not. And I think like everything in the spiritual world with manifesting, with magic, right? It's always like take what resonates with you and leave the
Yes.
rest.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have an 888 tattoo on my hand. This year it was literally 888 because in numerology, 2024, when you add up 2 plus 2 plus 4, it's 8. So to me, I was like, oh, this resonates big time. I want to tap into this magic this year. I want to do a ritual. Past
Yeah.
years, I didn't resonate with it as much. And just I don't know, it just didn't, it didn't light me up. But this year I was like, oh yes, like this lights me up this year. So I kind of like I mean, I think I always am kind of like have like a foot in like I'm like I can agree with both sides and see their points, but I do think there's something to just the collective being in belief and just I mean, that's why I love studying magic. I always talk about the book Real Magic by Dr. Dean Radin or Radin. The biggest factor in magic working or not is your belief. And so if your spells never work, it's probably your subconscious belief that it's bullshit
I
or that
literally,
it works for other people and not for you. That's the
yeah.
number one thing that's going to block your spell work.
Yeah. I
And so,
literally was
yeah,
just talking to Hannah about this because I was like, I
mhm,
just did a spell and I feel good about it, but it feels kind of like, oh, like whatever. And she
yeah,
was like, let me like check with your guides and see what they're saying. And they're like, she's like, you have to believe it.
yeah.
I was like, uh.
Yeah, because it's all been studied. It's all been studied.
Yeah.
And like, some people love manifestation, but they don't resonate with calling it magic or using spells and
Hmm.
rituals, right? We're witches. We like doing the spell. We like doing the ritual. We have belief in that. It doesn't matter. It's all the same power to create, but it doesn't work unless we believe in it. And there's just countless studies of quantum physics, of intention, of all of these things that show it to be true. So, yeah, like with any portal, there's the 888 portal, there's the 1111 portal that we'll have in November. Like everyone's
Yeah.
whatever. It doesn't matter. If you believe in it or if it resonates with you and you can get your belief behind it, then it's gonna create
Sure.
magic for you. And it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun to be
It
it's
is
like,
so
oh, it's
fun.
888. Like it's fun when 1111 comes up. Just like it's fun to see 1111 and celebrate a little whenever you see it on the clock. Earlier in the episode, we were
Yeah.
just like 222, it's 222 on the clock.
Yeah.
It's fun. It feels
It is
magical.
fun. Just have fun.
Yeah, we're here. We're here to be hot
Yeah.
and have fun.
Honestly, that just made me think of, did you see the video of Chapel Roan? I can't even remember what festival she was just playing, but um, you know how she always teaches like the hot to go dance before they start.
Mm,
And then she's like, it's so funny that VIP thinks they're too cool to do the dance. She was like, you're not fun. She was like, just have fun and try.
yeah. Yeah, I love that.
So
And
silly.
I like that and try because I
Yeah.
feel like we grew up in, and I don't know if it's still like this for kids in school, but I grew up where it was so uncool to care
Yeah.
and so uncool to try. I always had good grades. I didn't want anybody to know that. It was very uncool to be smart or to care about anything. You had to
Yeah.
just be like, ugh,
Whatever.
I don't care about anything. Oh, I'm not like the other girls. Like,
Yeah.
so I like that. It's cool to try. It's cool to care.
It is cool to
You'll get it.
Mercury retrograde has been really hard. I cannot talk at all. It's been rough. I'm gonna try again. I don't even remember what I was saying.
Cool to try.
It's cool to try.
Nailed it.
That's like what I just posted on my story with the Miley Cyrus Disney Legends speech. Did you see the whole thing?
I
I
didn't.
literally cried
I need to
watching
watch it
it.
because I love Miley
I
Cyrus.
love her so much. But she was just saying, she was like, listen, like legends get scared, but they still try.
Mm.
Just try. They just do it anyway.
Yeah. I think, yeah. It's like, I don't know, what do you have to lose? You've had
Yeah.
nothing to lose and everything to gain when you try.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even the things where you try and then fail, it's like, okay, well, I know.
Yeah.
And I'm never gonna, I don't know. I always say this all the time. I always think about being on my deathbed and being like, I wish I would have just tried. Like, I never ever want to ever. That's like my motivation in life for doing scary
Mm,
things. I'm like, what if I would have just tried that? What if I would have just tried?
yeah. That's such a good brain space to be in. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know the words.
Mindset, mentality.
Yes, mindset. Oh
Yeah.
gosh, sorry guys.
Don't worry. I'll get us through this. Speaking of words, back to scripting. I mean, yeah,
Yes.
what you said about scripting, it's like, you can use it in different forms, I think, but more or less it's just like writing what you want to manifest or what you want to be true in present tense as though it's already done, or in past tense, like this
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I do. I think
Yeah.
I learned that from you.
It's my favorite thing ever. I really like writing. I do it usually by hand, but I also have a part of my Notion that I keep
Of
by,
course.
because I do two types of scripting. I what I would call like more like I mean more like goal driven scripting. That's a little bit more serious. I don't know how to describe it. Like I do it, I keep track of it, I keep it organized. It's in my Notion, right? Like it's organized, whatever. And then I do what I would call more like casual scripting in my notebook, just scribbling, just
Okay.
writing for fun.
Yeah.
And so anyone that this resonates with, where you're like, ooh, that sounds fun, I like writing. My more like serious scripting that I do, that's very goal driven, very action oriented, you can download it for free. It'll give you my Notion template. So look, then you can download Notion if you don't have it yet.
Yeah.
um, but it's in the show notes. It's in all the show notes. Just click on my like link.bio, the scripting freebie. But I'll bring it up right now. I'll tell you all what I do. Um, but I do this monthly or like on the new moon. I used to do it on like the first of the month. Then I switched over to doing it on new moons. They're pretty close
Mm,
together right now. So
yeah.
kind of like in that between the first and like the new moon, I've been just kind of like spending a couple days going back to it. Um, Let me look at it. So you can like download this and use it whatever way you want, and you can switch it up and you can not do parts of it and do parts of it, whatever you want to do. Um, but I like to do this once a month, and it really is a good way to recognize your progress. It's a good way to stay um excited about your vision, because I really think like if you're someone, I always felt like I was someone where I'm just like I have that initial excitement, I get started, and then I'm like, I'm not excited about it anymore. Lose the
Yeah.
motivation, right? And I think this monthly scripting, the way I do it, is a really great way, and the daily scripting I do, but it's a great way to keep yourself excited, keep your eye on the prize. You're reminding yourself regularly, this is why you want to do this hard thing. This is why you're here. This is why you're doing it, because of this amazing vision that you have for the future that you're going to get to one day, but it's the small steps you take now that you have to do this. So, so if you go download this, I do a gratitude rampage, 5 things that I'm grateful for from the past month. So
Mm,
we're halfway through August. Let's just say it. So if I like look back on my July, and I go, okay, what were 5 things that I'm grateful for in July? Just to recognize that, even if it felt like July was like a crappy month or something, I don't know. I was like, oh, I just didn't do anything or I didn't get done. We're recognizing, we're like, okay, there was some good in July, right? I think that's really important to recognize the passage of time. Be sure in this gratitude to recognize anything that you scripted into reality, even if it's something
mhm.
small. So I like to do this monthly and be like, oh, I scripted that and now it's here. I did it. Just like I was talking with the Grim about the Grimoire last week of like keep track of your spells, like
Yeah.
keep track of your scripting too. It is a spell. And then always include something that you're like gratitude towards yourself. Like I'm so grateful that I was really nervous to do this thing, but I put myself out there anyways, whether or not it worked out, right? It's like something for
Yeah.
yourself or I'm so grateful that I really like solidified my tapping habit this month and I actually tapped like almost every day. Something
Yeah.
like that, right? And then I do things you're grateful for from this month ahead. Yes, in the future, but write it as though it's already done. And you're
Mhm.
mixing these together because your brain doesn't know the difference. So it's like, oh yeah, I remember that happening. And then it's like, oh, okay, that happened. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's a big gratitude soup of things you are
Mm,
manifesting. Mmm,
yum.
yum. And then I always just take a moment to check in on opportunities like, what did I procrastinate? What did I put off? What did I say I was going to do this month, but I didn't? And just like, where did my expectations fall short? Where was I disappointed and where can I take personal responsibility? Do I want to bring this forward or am I just like done with this or I'm going to leave it? Things like that. So any blocks, challenges, funky feelings, any limiting beliefs that came up, every time I sat down to do this thing, my mind went blank, take note and I save it for the full moon for my releasing ritual. Great.
Very
And
nice.
then I do the letter from my future self. So I imagine myself. So if I was doing this at the end of July, I would write a letter from like August 31st, like that.
Hmm.
And this is super chill. It's like, what happened? How do you feel? What manifested? What are you grateful for? It's literally just like updating your BFF on like the month you had. And then this is really important is taking all of this, looking at that letter you just wrote of like what would be your perfect August or perfect September whenever you do this and write things down like what areas of life are you focusing on this month? Choose a habit that will help you manifest your intention, your biggest intention that
Hmm.
excites you the most. You're like, oh, I want to manifest a new job. So I'm going to do a tapping on manifest attracting opportunities and a tapping on my self-worth. And I'm going to tap on like this new job every single day or like 3 times a week or whatever. So like a habit like that where it helps with the mindset and then choose a bold, inspired action for each area of life. So if you're again manifesting a new job, you're going to do tapping to get in the right mindset of your worthiness and belief in yourself. And then the bold action would be like applying for the jobs, right? Like
Yeah.
updating your resume, stuff like that. And then I always like to write down how will I reach the end of the month and feel proud and accomplished. And with this, like part of that, if it was manifesting the dream job, I would write, well, manifesting the dream job or having given it my all, having written, you know, cover letters I felt good about, having um applied for those jobs, having done my tapping, like I'm gonna feel really proud and accomplished, even if the job isn't here yet, but I'm gonna feel like I gave it my all and I'm gonna be like really proud of myself. And the key with all of this, like, yes, I do this every month. It doesn't take very much time. I know it's a lot of stuff, but you really don't want to overcommit. You're not like putting in 5 new habits every month and I need to do this many inspired actions. It's literally like pick one thing and
Yeah.
give it your all this month. And that's like the baby steps. Because then the next month, if you want to include a new habit and keep the tapping habit, great. That one's already established. So I never commit myself to more than 1 or 2 new things in a month because, like, chill,
That's a good, yeah.
you'll give up on it if you're overwhelmed. But that's my like monthly serious. I keep that in my Notion every month. It's fun to look back on, reread. Um, I used to do this in the Alchemy Collective with everybody. It was so fun to do together, but now you have the outline that you can
Hmm.
download for free in the show notes. But daily then, and my I journal every day, but it's not always scripting, but usually like part of it is like my little journaling session will usually start with like, oh, like I feel good today or I don't feel good today and kind of just like update on how I'm feeling and then I'll kind of go into scripting and I'll be like um just whatever I want, however I want that day to go.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's like a scripting for the day, sometimes it's a scripting for the month, sometimes it's a scripting for the year or like years down the road. It's just like whatever comes to me. It's just like what feels fun to write about right now. I often am writing about like my dream apartment. I'm like, oh, like
Hmm. Yeah.
I have a fountain that I can hear from my bedroom and like just like little things like that or like I have a beautiful view when I wake up and open the curtains like the sun is like beaming on my face and I have the most beautiful view. Or I love writing about trips. Like, oh, I'm so excited for my like cruise to Antarctica, or
Yeah.
that's one I really want to go on. And I'll just write about like it was so crazy to see the little baby penguins following their whatever, like I write it as though it's already done, and that's just fun, and it's just like a page or two. I write like 1 to 3 pages a day, depending on the time I have and if I'm just like feeling like it. But that just keeps the motivation going, where it's like, okay, like if I want this vision to happen, then I have to keep going. So I'm gonna get to
Yeah.
work today, and I'm gonna put myself out there today, and I'm gonna get uncomfortable or whatever I got to do today. And to me, that's the most motivating thing, is just on a daily basis, even if, and the notebook's small, it's not like it's a small notebook, even if it's 1 page, just to remind myself of how exciting that vision is. And then when I close the notebook, being like, well, if I want that, then I got to get to my work today,
Hmm.
whatever that means,
Yeah.
Um,
You
and
gotta
that's how I like
try.
to, yeah, gotta try. It's so cool to care about your future and the vision you want. And whether it's a new car, a new house, or moving, or a relationship, or, travel, or whatever, like when you lack motivation, you don't have to journal every day like I do, but like anytime you're lacking motivation, like sit down with your journal or on your screen, whatever. If you don't resonate with handwriting, I like handwriting, and just like script
Hmm.
and just write it as though it's already there. Talk like I sometimes I'll write about how like, oh, I'm having the girls over for I'm hosting a girls' night, and I'm making it whatever, like we're gonna paint and have like a creativity night together, and we're gonna drink wine, and we're gonna paint paint the same version of something, and I'll like script that because I'm like, oh, I'm
I
excited
love
to have a
that.
home that I like host little girls' nights in someday.
Yeah.
And it's just like whatever comes to me that day, where I'm like, oh, I literally, like, that was inspired by I saw a girl that her whole Instagram was her hosting girls' nights, and I was like, I want to do that. So then I scripted a
That's so
scenario where I
cute.
did, right? So it's just like it's just meant to be fun, and to me it's like so motivating, and that's really like a part of the reason why it helps you manifest, is because it keeps that vision alive. It keeps that motivation alive in you, that excitement.
Yeah. I love that. That's a good reframe for me and anyone else that needs it too. I definitely have
Mhm.
fallen off on my journaling. I used to journal every morning. Um, but more recently I've just been like pulling a card and then writing about that,
Mm.
which isn't bad,
No,
but
that's good
like I'm
too.
not
Yeah.
like journaling like I used to.
Hmm.
I want to
Yeah.
get into it.
I go through phases where I'll since I've been home, I've written almost every single day in my journal, and I
Mhm.
really look forward to it. But sometimes I'll go a month, 2 months, 3 months where I'm like maybe writing once a week, or just not
Yeah.
really. I don't know. I think like everything is cyclical. Like my
Hmm.
habit, like meditation, I always have done. That's not like sometimes I fall off of it a little bit when I'm like traveling from new to new places, but tapping for me has always been pretty cyclical, where I'll be like really into it and then like stop doing it, which that one I'm not anymore, because that's a forever every day, because that's been crazy helpful for me this summer. Excuse me, but journaling, tapping, those have all been cyclical, where I'll be like go nuts over it for like a month or two and then like take a break. So it's like,
Yeah.
what's most helpful to you right now? This summer, I was like taking a big step back in business stuff. I'm trying to figure out my vision. So I was like, the most useful thing for that would be to script every day to see what
Yeah.
the heck is my new vision. And it's been so great and so helpful.
Yeah. I love that.
Speaking of which, circling back, the 888 portal and what I scripted and how a bunch of stuff manifested on 888. This was crazy.
Ooh.
So, okay, so I already told Pam, because I like manifested this crazy job that I'm so
Yes.
excited for. So, which I never ever thought that I was ever gonna want a job ever again. I was like, "Ugh," before.
No.
Um, but and it was like really hard to come to terms with that. Like spring, this summer, I felt like I went through like an ego death, where I was like,
Hmm.
but there was something in my intuition just saying like, go down this path, just see what's there, right? And so I started scripting. I was like, well, if I'm gonna have a job, like I have a lot of parameters.
Yeah.
But I did feel like I did need to take a step back from my business and social media and stuff. Like I just felt like, yeah, I mean, I've talked about it a little before. Like I was just feeling burnt out and I was feeling really like social media specifically was just affecting my mental health. Like I just never could turn it off. Like I was just always
Hmm.
checking it and I'll have to post one, two, three times a day. And like I was just like couldn't cut that cord ever. Like I was just was it was just draining my energy, you know? Um so anyways, honestly, this goes back to the first of the year when I was doing my year ahead scripting, and I felt like I heard this voice that was like, yeah, like all the stuff you do now, like classes and content, whatever, you're not gonna, you're gonna be doing this for free in the future. And I was like, what do you mean? And I think I mentioned that recently in an episode. Um, so I kind of had that in the back of my mind, and I just kept feeling whatever called my intuition, my gut saying like, it's time to close down the memberships. It's time to take a step back. Like, don't freak out. But of course, I freaked out because I was like, what do you mean? This is my whole
Yeah.
life the past 4 years. Like, whatever. This is crazy. I can't imagine doing anything else. But I was scripting all this summer, every single day. I've been tapping every single day, like sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. Where I was like, I just want to know what's going on. Like, send me the path, like whatever. And I continued to just like listen to my intuition when I was like, I don't know about that, but okay. And I told this story about how I was meditating and I heard the name Jordan, and then I manifested
Hmm.
this sales job, and the the manager, the head guy, his name is Jordan. And I was just like, okay. So I took that job, and I was like, okay, like this is fine. I mean, not to brag, but I'm on the leaderboards every week, which I also scripted. I wrote as soon as I got that job, I was like, this isn't something I'm really interested in selling, but I'm just gonna make the most of it. I'm like, I would script, I wrote, I'm so grateful that I'm on the top producers leaderboard every single week. I have been since the day I started. Which is literally like everyone's just like what? Like they're like, a lot of people don't make their first sale for like a month, 2 months. And I was like, but I'm gonna be on the leaderboards.
Yeah.
Well, it's only been like a month and a half. Um, just got celebrated today. And
Hooray.
and um and then I was like, okay, like sales is pretty cool. Sales is fun. I'm enjoying this, but I'd rather sell something a bit sexier, like something I'm more interested in.
Yeah.
And I learned about like high ticket remote sales where like you can help like coaches and people with different like higher ticket offers like that already have the leads coming in, and you help them close. You take sales
Hmm.
calls and you help them close and you get a commission. And I was like, that sounds amazing. I was like, especially for like a coach, like I love coaching. If I could find like somebody that I'm really interested in what they do, I really believe in it. Like I was like, I didn't know this job existed, but all of a sudden I have this new like dream job that I want. That sounds so awesome because the thing about having a business is like I felt like I could never turn off. I was working every
Hmm.
single day. I was thinking about it all day and all night, and I was constant, and I was like, this is a job where I can like turn it off when I'm done. I can still make content. I can still do the podcast. I can still like I'm sharing like all my old classes and stuff on YouTube every week. I can still do all the
Yeah.
things I want. But when it comes to like my income, I can show up and then I can be done, and I can be like more of like a content creator and like still do what I love in that capacity. So anyways, I started applying for these high ticket remote closer jobs, which I was like, I feel like I'm severely underqualified for, but I'm just gonna go for it anyways.
Gonna
But be
try.
I'm gonna try because I was like, now I know what I want. Now I see something that really genuinely excites me and feels like a dream job to me, which I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
Scripted all of this because I kept writing like the perfect job opportunity that's fulfilling and fun, and I can control my income. There's not a cap. Like I just couldn't imagine going back to like an hourly job after,
Hmm.
having a business, all this stuff. I just kept I didn't know what that would be, but I kept writing it every single day. I'm so grateful that I found this job. I'm so grateful that I have this income. I'm so grateful. It's fun and fulfilling and whatever. And because I listened to my intuition, getting the sales job that like wasn't very aligned like with what I'm selling, but I was like, I don't know, my intuition just says it. I had that on my resume, sales along with my coaching experience, which was the bigger one, and sales in my business,
Yeah.
obviously. But that little bit of extra on that resume, even though it was only for like a month, was enough to catch the interest. And on it was literally like midnight almost on 8/8, which I'm like, they're all on the East Coast, so it was midnight for them. Me like it was on 8/8. Literally, I got the email. I I had 3 interviews. I did super well, but I was still a little doubtful because I was like, yeah. Anyways, got the email. Hey Sadie, congratulations. On 8/8. Basically, the very last very night before, like 30 minutes before 8/8. And then I was up until 4 a.m. because I was so excited and I couldn't go to sleep. And everybody in my house was already asleep. So I texted Pam. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. She's like, I took my sleep medicine.
It's like I just took my trazodone, so if I don't answer, that's why, but I'm really happy for you.
It was crazy. I literally like she, had told me like, oh, like we'll text you or whatever very soon after the first interview. She's like, I really like you, whatever. And then she's like, okay, well, we'll do a second interview. I had to do like a role play call, which was like role play. I have to do role play all this week. It's so embarrassing to me, but I have to do role play all this week to train. But I'm like, I'll do it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Um, putting myself out
Trying.
there, being uncomfortable.
Maybe you'll go into acting next.
Right? Probably. Quite the actress now. But I had to do like a role play interview, and then I had to interview with the owner slash like coach, and then yeah, I got the email. So I manifested that on 8/8. There was one other thing. There was something else where I was like, oh my God, I can't believe these two things are I can't remember. There was another thing on 8/8 where I was like, wow, this is the best day ever. But I can't remember what the other one was now. That really outshone it. The other one was smaller, but I was just like, huh. Oh, you know what it was? It was like these small little things, but I was like, abundance. Like, I don't know why, but TikTok and Facebook both sent me like $20 each. And I was like, how did I make that money? That's so random. But it was just like
What?
cool. It felt like the most abundant day ever because I was like, it's like $40, but
Yeah.
I just had these random payouts that probably have accumulated over like a really long time or something. I don't know. I was
Love
clicking all
that.
around them. I don't know where the money came from. But there were just two random unexpected payments for small amounts on 8/8. So it just felt so magical. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, dream job. I have these like random little, which I also, this is what's crazy. I was scripted. I was like, and my brand, TikTok and Instagram and YouTube pays me for my content instead of clients paying me. That's why it was crazy because I scripted that. I was like, I want my brand to be like, I make content, which I've been not doing so much lately. I've been settling into this, new stuff, but I literally have wrote multiple different times like YouTube and Instagram and TikTok pays me instead of clients. And then I got those two payouts and I was like, fucking scripting.
Dang. Hell
Crazy,
yeah.
right?
That's so exciting.
Yeah. So I have a new job I'm training for this week. I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just feeling grateful. And it's all remote, so I can still travel and live wherever when we all move to St. Augustine,
We all moved to St.
if
Augustine.
that happens. Which we are planning our trip there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's what happened for me on 8/8. It was crazy. I was like, I scripted all of this, and then it all came together on 8/8.
That's very
Crazy.
exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah. I did not have an exciting 8/8,
that's
but
okay.
that's fine. One of us had to.
Right. I
I
feel
went to like
like
4 different grocery stores
for what?
because I
Gluten
was
free?
shopping for my gluten-free diet now. And then I did the thing where, when you get home from the grocery store and then you're like putting shit away and then you're like, damn it, I forgot this thing.
Shoot.
Gosh darn it.
Shoot. Gosh darn it.
Um, and then so I went to a closer grocery store, and then I got home and then I realized that, oh my God, this is my last day to make my Amazon return, which I have to do at Whole Foods. So I was like, oh my God.
One more.
So I went to 4 different grocery stores because I started at Costco. And that was my day. And then I got home, I did a couple spells and manifestations, and then I, oh my God, you know it was actually really crazy.
Yeah, tell
Okay.
me.
I was gonna talk about this afterwards, but whatever. Afterwards in our
Nope.
serious business time.
In our serious business time after we get all the giggles out.
Yeah. Um, so I did this protection spell the on the 7th,
Mm.
and it was okay. This is not about scripting, sorry. But I did this protection spell, and it was just so wild because it was an 8-hour candle. Like its
Hmm.
burn time was 8 hours,
Yeah.
but it burned down in like an hour, 10 minutes. And I was like,
Something
okay.
was happening.
Yeah. I was like, all right, well, get that protection up, girl.
Yeah.
So that was kind of wild. And the way that like the wax, it also was supposed to be like dripless. And there was like, this huge wax like
Wow,
thing. So I
crazy.
was like, I'll have to show you after. But so I was like planning something with a friend, and I was like, hey, while I have you here, what do you see in this? Because I
Hmm.
see something, but I maybe am missing something. And then so she like said a couple things to me, and she was like, I am also feeling a like a Greek goddess and a Norse goddess that are
Mm.
coming to you. And I was like, well, I just started working with a Greek one,
Hmm.
and there's one Norse that I've like always really wanted to work with, but it's never like she's always been like, no, 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 like not
Mm.
yet.
Hmm.
Um, and then the next day on 8/8, I was driving around all over town, going to all my grocery stores.
Right.
And um I was like my whole like the whole day I was like completely surrounded by dragonflies. So
Mm.
naturally I Googled it.
Right, of
And I don't
course.
know if this is right or not because I found it on Google, but
Hmm.
apparently
Apparently, dragonflies show up when
Freya
apparently.
is reaching out to you. And I've always wanted to work with her, but she's always been like, no, not yet, not yet, not yet. And then so
Wow.
I brushed it off because I was like, no, like I've never like gotten the opportunity to work with her. So I brushed it off. Finally, after all of my trips, I plopped down on my couch, and there's a tree right outside
Uh-huh.
my like the front of my house, the window. And I plopped down on my couch, and there is a hawk, just like a whole ass hawk. I've never seen that before, never seen it.
They're huge.
This one was big, but
Yeah.
also kind of looked like a baby.
Like there's usually they usually are so high up, like they are like
Yeah,
they usually don't
come
come
down.
sit close down into like lower branches of trees because I saw one close up when I still lived in Redondo. It was like literally on the ground across the street. And I was like, I've literally never
You're like,
seen a
what are you
hawk
doing here?
stand on the ground, but it
Adam
was
Sandler,
really big.
what are you
Yeah.
doing here?
What are you doing here?
um, yeah, I've had this happen twice in my life where one hawk would sit outside of my window in my old house.
Hmm.
Sorry, I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb. There's this one moving company. I just was trying to get a quote, just to get an idea. And now they call me. I've had to
Their
block their
sales
number.
team is calling you.
I get like 3 calls a
If you
day.
answer and you go, can you put me on the do not call list very nicely? They have to
Okay.
take you off.
I started blocking their calls, and now they just texted me.
Just answer. Oh, just text them back and be like, can you put me on your do not call list, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
Me now
anyway.
in sales, I'm like, I got you, girl. That's all you have to
Um,
do and be nice about it.
yeah.
Because
Leave
other
me
people, they're
alone.
just doing their job.
You're like, please. But yeah, whole hawk right outside. So naturally, again, I Googled it, and um I guess they're associated with Freya, hawks, falcons, all different kinds of things.
Wow. And what
Yeah.
is Freya associated with?
Um, love, fertility, and beauty and war.
Mm. Mm. So kind of similar to the Greek goddess, I feel like.
Yes. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
The other day we have a deck, like we have a sliding door at the back of our house and a deck, which I go sit out on all the time. You've probably seen it in my stories if y'all follow me. But um I never ever see birds perch on the deck like that close to the house. But there was a bird and I was like, oh, a pigeon. But I was like, wait, I don't think there's pigeons here. I was like, oh, that's weird. There's a pigeon on our deck. And I was like, wait, do we have pigeons? And I was looking at it closer. And I mean, I don't know any bird species, but I had it pop into my head, whether this was psychic or just some memory that I don't remember ever learning. But I was like, mourning dove. It's a mourning dove.
I thought you were gonna say dove.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. It's probably just a pigeon. I'm like, I don't know. Are pigeons in like rural Wisconsin? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Or are they just city birds? But anyways, it was a mourning dove because then I Googled it.
They prefer the hustle and bustle of the big
Pigeons.
city.
This pigeon on my back deck was like in its Hallmark movie era, coming from the small town. But
It'll find love soon.
it was a mourning dove. And then I felt kind of like bad. I was like, a dove probably wouldn't like to be called a pigeon. No offense to pigeons.
Did you know that pigeons um were like super domesticated and
Mhm.
then we just were like, well, we don't really need you anymore. So now they
Yeah.
like don't really know like how to take care of
It's
themselves very
sad.
well because they're just like,
Think it's a very sad story.
yeah.
We were like, "Oh, pigeons, we love you. You're smart. You can deliver our mail." And then we were like, "You're gross.
Yeah.
Get out of here."
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
sad.
It is sad.
I No, never mind. I was gonna say I would love to have pigeons someday, but I don't want pigeons. I just felt really sad for a moment. I was like, I would love to have some pigeons, and I was like, no, I do want chickens. Maybe,
Really?
maybe fun to have some
Chickens
chickens.
kind of freak me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're like dinosaurs.
Yeah, roosters are scary.
Yeah, they are kind of
The
scary.
My grandparents had a farm while I was growing up, and the rooster, it was a black rooster with its little red thing, and it would chase us. There was one rooster and a bunch of chickens, and the rooster was mean. I did not like the rooster. My dad was always like, "Stay away from the rooster. You're getting too close to him. He's gonna start chasing you." Because you're really small. That was kind of fun. But chickens, I like the idea of being able to be like, "Oh, time for breakfast," and going out and getting a fresh egg.
Mm, yeah.
But it wouldn't be very fun to like clean the chicken coop and stuff like that. But maybe I'll have a
Mm,
husband for that or something.
yeah.
Like, honey, I
Time
gave
for you
birth
to
to our
clean
children,
the.
so you need to clean the chicken coop. If I ever give birth to a child, it's gonna be my excuse to get out of everything. I made that. I grew that. So
You could
you
take out the
change it.
trash.
You change the poopy diapers because I
Yeah.
spent 9 months growing it and it sucked the life out of me.
Yeah.
So I physically can't do
Yeah.
that.
Sorry. I just can't get off the couch, you know?
Very tired.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. So we talked a lot about scripting,
Yes.
but automatic writing is a little different. So
Yeah.
let's touch on that briefly. And we kind
Yes.
of talked about it in a different episode. I, you know, I used to, when I first started when my spiritual journey was first starting and I first started my psychic development and I was beginning my meditation habit, like all those things were kind of starting. What I would do is I would meditate every day and then go straight into writing. And
Ah, okay.
that's really like that's the best way you can go into automatic writing because automatic writing is meant to whether it can be a number of things. It can also just be like what you believe. Automatic writing can be you channeling from your subconscious.
Mm.
Automatic writing can be you channeling your spirit guides or channeling a deity. Um, I think like just like anything where you're like trying to like strengthen your intuition, it's a really great tool for that. and you kind of have to um in like in I don't know, like when you talk about like movies or books and stuff, there's the like willing suspension of belief. Like you have to
Hmm.
like you kind of have to just like let the plot holes exist or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I think there's like a willing suspension of disbelief when it comes to automatic writing, like or just like receiving when you're learning to be psychic, like receiving messages, channeling for a client. Like yeah, like it's hard for you to comprehend that like this is real because it just feels like you're making it up at the time, but then it's
Yeah.
validated through the client experience and things like that. So I think with automatic writing, like I can't emphasize enough, like it mostly feels like you are just writing and you're
Hmm.
making things up.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. But
Okay.
my so basically I when I want to do automatic writing, set an intention before I go into meditation. Um it's because we talked about deity work a couple weeks ago. So maybe I want to connect with my deity. My deity has come through really strong in automatic writing. And I actually remember this was years ago, but hosting a class about automatic writing. And I was like, well, I'll share mine because I feel like it was a collective message. And didn't, I said this, and I didn't say who it was from. I hadn't shared what deity I was working with, which is still my deity now. And I shared the message, and someone in the chat said, that sounds a lot like, and said my deity's name. And that for me was like crazy. And
Whoa.
it was someone she was familiar with and like kind of like worked with herself. And so she knew. She was like, "Whoa, this sounds like you're channeling so and so." And I was like, "That is probably correct because," and I didn't even necessarily set the intention, I think that time to channel that deity, but it was just like meditated, felt this. I always feel sort of like a presence, like kind of like at my back and almost like a hand on my shoulder. And I just wrote the message. And it wasn't at all the way I talk. It wasn't at all, but it just felt very like the thoughts are in my head and I'm writing them out on paper. But it wasn't how I spoke, right? It was very like
Yeah.
proper and like more masculine. And then somebody said that they were like, oh, this sounds like so and so. I was like,
That's so wild.
that's crazy.
Like, excuse me. What?
Right. I was like, oh my God, I think you're right. So that was really cool. But before you can, I like would get my notebook. I'd write like, what do I need to know today? Or I would write, oops, 333 right now.
Mm.
I would write,
And 33 seconds.
hell yeah, make a wish. Or I would,
And we're talking about deities.
yeah, look at us. Look at
Look
us.
at
Who would have
us.
thought? Um, But most often I'd like write, what do I need to know today? And just kind of like be like, oh, I'm connecting with my spirit guides or with myself or whatever. Or you could write like, your deity's name, or you could write spirit guide, spirit team, or you could write even a loved one in spirit if you want. Um, and
Hmm.
then before automatic writing and inviting someone or something to channel through you, I would do the like protection, like we talked about, like if I'm intending to open myself to be a channel, like I'll always say, like, Archangel Michael, please act as my gatekeeper, only allow energies that have my highest good in mind, blah, blah, blah. Like we
Hmm.
talked about in the deity episode. And then I meditate. And then whenever I just feel like I'm starting to feel like messages come through, I just start writing it. And that's it. It
I
feels
love
like you're
that.
making it up. Now,
Yeah.
some people start writing with their eyes closed and it's really just scribbles and they're not even writing anything. Almost in the way, if you've ever seen Tyler Henry, the
Hmm.
medium, how he just scribbles while he's channeling.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a good way to get your ego to give him a little job to do. Uh,
Yeah.
remember when we talked about quotes? This is an Arrested Development quote that I always think is good for the ego. Give him a little job to do, make him feel special.
Yeah.
So writing can be a great way too, if it's just scribbles and it's not meant to be read back. It's not the messages itself, but it can distract your ego mind and you can just collect the messages in your
Right.
mind. The way I do it, I tend to actually like write down the messages and I can read them back, but there's multiple ways it can go. Um, but that's basically it. It's just like meditate and then start writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've always stopped because I was like, this is stupid. I'm not getting anything. Like, I
Hmm.
just feel like I'm
What
making up
I
words.
What I always say is when you're thinking those thoughts, just write it down.
Mm,
It's literally just try to dip into the stream of consciousnness. So I can't tell you how many times, and every time I held an automatic writing class, I would say the same thing. When we all come out of meditation, or I would always say, like, one, I'm going to lead a meditation to try and help us tap in. You can start writing whenever you feel ready, or you can just wait for me to say, okay, if you haven't yet, start writing. I can't tell you how many times I start writing and I'm like, I don't know what to write. I don't have any messages coming through. This feels like nothing is happening. And you just write the stream of consciousness and you just keep going. And then before you know it, you've dipped into it. You've
mm,
passed into the subconscious where either you're channeling your own subconscious, which has mystery messages for you just as much as if you're channeling a guide or something.
yeah,
But that's also, the seat where we have the subconscious and the superconscious. So it's like, it's almost like going through this passageway. We're in the conscious, we want to travel to the subconscious, and then we want to travel to the superconscious, which is our connection to beyond ourselves. So literally do exactly what you're saying. Just write that down
write
and
it
then
down.
keep writing. As you could write a whole page of, I feel nothing, I hear nothing, I see nothing, I have no
Yeah,
messages. Keep doing that. Set a timer for yourself to practice. Keep doing that until something comes through. It's literally, you just want your ego to release all of those thoughts. So let your ego think those thoughts and then just keep writing, and you'll find that eventually, and a lot of times it'll be like phrases, it'll be things that maybe don't make sense, or if you're very visual, you can just write, I'm seeing a purple triangle, like
yeah.
whatever, and make sense of it later. But yeah, just write. That's it.
Okay, that makes sense. I think I was actually thinking about this earlier about like this is something that I need to work on, and maybe you'll relate to it with your Aries moon, but I have a lot
Yeah.
of and all of your fire in your chart, but I have a lot of Aries and a lot of like impatience. And with
Hmm.
things like this, I'm like, oh, like this is just like it's not doing it. It's not going, it's not going, it's not going. And then also if I try something and I am not immediately good at it,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is stupid. Like I have to like I expect myself to be perfect at something the first like one or two times that I try
Yeah, I
something.
resonate with that so much. Yeah, I'm like, well, I wasn't good at it immediately. I'm probably just not good at it.
Yeah.
Guess it's not for me. It's like,
Guess it's
oh.
not for me.
But, at the same time, if something doesn't resonate with you, then you don't have to do it, right? But if you want automatic, right? If it does resonate with you, where you're like, that sounds really cool and really useful, then practice. But
Yeah.
for you or anybody listening at the same time, if it's like, yeah, that one doesn't really speak to me, it's like, okay, cool. There's lots of other ways, Some people really resonate um with, rather than scripting, like you said, or rather than automatic writing, like you can do automatic writing with tarot. You can pull some tarot
Mm.
cards to get it going, start writing based on the tarot, and then just keep writing and invite that stream of consciousness to kickstart that way. Do a meditation, pull some cards, start writing, let it turn into automatic writing. That's another way
Oh,
to
I love
kickstart it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try that for
or
sure.
or pull the cards, then meditate, and then when you're ready, start writing, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like literally, there's no rules here. You can use a pendulum and do automatic writing.
Got my guy right
You
here.
can whatever you want. Yeah. So I think automatic writing is, you definitely want to incorporate some sort of mindfulness to get into that energy. Some breath work, a meditation, some tapping. That's going to help sort of like quiet down that ego mind so that
Yeah.
conscious mind, the thing that talks a lot, so you can get those underneath layers to come through. I find
Yeah.
it's really cool. It's really useful. I mean, at the beginning, I should honestly do this again at the very beginning of my social media. But this was back when like you just had to post a photo with a long caption, and like that did really well. Now it's not really
Yeah.
like that. But back then, when that did really
Back in
well,
my day.
back in my day, which was, oh my gosh, 4 years ago now, which is crazy. That's what I would do. I would just post what came through in my automatic writing every day. I would write on the top of my page, I'd say, what do we need to know today? What does my community need to know today? I would channel something, I would like edit it, like write it more properly. And that's what I would post. That
Mm.
was it. That was my content strategy. And it did good. But then I don't know, I just stopped doing it and I'm like, I wonder how I could do that now. I could probably do it. Maybe I'll try it this week. I haven't been posting lately. Maybe I'll give that a shot and see what I could come up with to make it happen in maybe a voiceover for a reel or something,
Yeah,
channeled.
that'd be cute.
But yeah, that's how I always had like messages to share.
I love that. I definitely want to try automatic writing again. I was talking to my deity this morning, um, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll try automatic writing with you later once I learn from Sadie how to do that."
Yeah, I mean, I would love
um,
to. I keep saying I'm like, oh, maybe I'll host a free class of this or this or this. I want to. So if you're listening and you're like, Sadie, you keep saying you'll like do a live with this or a class with that, and you keep not posting it. I have been so crazy busy, but I genuinely do want to. So send me a DM, bug me about it, remind me.
yeah,
But I would love to host like a automatic writing session or a scripting session. Maybe I know I said August 1st and I never went for it, but things were cuckoo bananas. Maybe no, my brother's getting married on August 31st, but maybe on like September 3rd or something, we can do a
yeah.
scripting session. And maybe before then we could do some automatic writing or something. I do miss like doing lives and stuff. So um yeah. Or you know what? We should do a we talked about ages ago, but then we never did it. We should do a joint live
Oh yeah,
for Giggly Witches, and maybe the next like new moon, you could lead a ritual in tarot, and then I could like lead a like little automatic writing session or something.
yeah. That's new moon in Virgo on the 2nd.
Oh yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah,
Maybe we can plan that. We'll plan a little Giggly Witches bash.
love that.
But just so everyone knows, if you don't already, Pam hosts lives every new and full moon, and they're so fantastic.
Thank you.
So if you aren't following her already, which you should be,
Yeah.
me making a mean mug face. If you aren't already, make sure make sure you're following her and joining in on those. Because they're so good. But yeah, we were talking ages ago about doing one together, so we should do one together. And maybe I can do automatic writing as my little
Yeah,
portion of it. That'd be fun.
that would be fun.
We had fun. Oh my God. Well,
Yay.
look at us. I feel like we stayed pretty on task this episode.
Yeah,
Some weeks
we'll
are better
see.
than others.
Yeah,
We'll see. A couple
we'll
weeks
see.
ago, we were all over the place.
Really all over the place. Like
We're
I'm waiting for
working on it.
my the report from my mom every week. Every week,
Mamica.
my mom, her name's Monica, so we call her Monica.
Mamica's report, which
Every
we
week she's
appreciate
like, "You guys did pretty good this week. Like you stayed on topic." Or
because we had a
she'll be
guest.
like, "You guys said like a lot this week."
I think 2 weeks ago we were super distracted.
What was even happening two
I don't
weeks
know. We
ago?
were just having a silly, goofy time. We were all over the place.
We
That's
were
okay.
having so goofy
I don't
time.
even remember what the theme was.
I don't either. I
Like,
think 2 weeks ago was deity work. Oh,
oh yeah, it was. It was. And we were having a bunch of tech issues. So
oh
it
my
was
God,
hard.
that's
So
what it
it kept
was.
interrupting us.
Yeah. I know we
Yeah.
started and stopped like 5 different
It was
times.
hard. Yeah. It was hard to get in a flow because we kept being like,
Yeah.
can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why that episode was a little
It
wonky,
was
but
like a Verizon commercial in here.
can you hear me now? Good.
Uh,
Oh my gosh. Well, I feel like anything else you want to add to automatic writing or scripting, Pam?
um, I don't think so. Um, I don't know. I think I learned a lot. How about you guys? I'm always like, I came to class today.
You came to class. Okay, well, everyone, make sure you share Giggly Witches podcast with a friend that would also love it, who likes magic and all of that. It helps
Yes.
us so much. Make sure you hit subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. And if you're on Spotify or Apple and you leave a review, that is super helpful for us. We'll come up with a little thank you gift for
Hmm.
leaving a review. So if you leave a review, take a screenshot and just hold on to it so that when we announce a free gift for a review, you can email us right away. I don't Not going to promise what it is right now. We're going to come up with something great.
Yeah.
But like I said, my scripting freebie is in the show notes. If you want to get my outline for that, make sure you're subscribed. If you want to find us on social media, we're at Giggly Witches on everything: TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I am Sadie Olson and Pam.
I am Velvet Snake Oracle on TikTok and Instagram. And speaking of full moon lives, I was going to talk about that. So thank you for that intro. The full moon in Aquarius is on August 19th, next Monday. So we'll be having a live that night. Come join me.
Yay. And what about
Hooray.
what else?
Oh, my
I heard you have a
readings.
freebie. I heard you have
I do
somebody
have a
told me.
freebie. I do have a freebie. It's a tarot freebie. It's a whole free guide to get you started. Sorry, this whole time I've been playing with my microphone cord. Like my fidget toy right now. But I have a tarot freebie. It's a whole guide on helping you get started reading tarot. It goes through the minor arcana, the major arcana, and just like how to get yourself into a good reading groove, I guess. And then I
Mm-hmm.
have readings available on my newly designed website. So check it out.
Go check it out. What's the website?
velvetsnakeoracle.com. That's probably helpful. Thanks,
Yeah.
Sadie.
We'll have everything in the show notes and at Velvet Snake Oracle on everything. Make sure you
Yes,
follow all of us, both of us,
all of us.
us and the little
And
man.
the guy behind there.
I think I said
Oh,
all of us
goodness.
because it's like the podcast and then you
Yeah,
and me.
I knew what you meant.
But then I thought about it and I was like, both of us, but all of us, because we are that. Anyways, oh my God, thank you, witches. Keep giggling. We'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, and stop recording. Wait, I still didn't stop. I thought